Hello, hello, my friends. This is part 4, I think, of my Becoming a Woman series. And I have a lovely woman beside me who she's already a woman, and I'm trying to be like Jenna. So this is Jenna. She's actually my neighbor, and we become friends once we realized, oh, we live next to each other. We're so similar. Like, this is awesome. And we decided that we would do this video together because she is a women's health coach, but I'm going to let her say her official title. So go ahead, Jenna. What's your
Women's
official
health
title?
coach is great. I'm also a functional nutrition practitioner, so I use functional nutrition and diagnostic testing to get to the root cause of your hormonal problems, imbalances.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. And so we actually have the same philosophy when it comes to healing the body, when it comes to just being the best version of yourself. And so the whole point of this series is I am dealing with some things that I know a lot of other women struggle with, and I know Jenna sees it firsthand. And not getting your period in 10 years, I've had it a handful of times over the last 10, but it's been 3 years for sure. And then 3 years ago, it was like a little bit, and then it was 3 years prior to that I had it. So it's clearly a problem. It's a sign that your body is not in balance. And also my thyroid hormones are pretty terrible. So they're pretty bad. Well, my T3 specifically is pretty bad right now. So in this series, I'm on a mission to learn how to heal the body naturally without medication, because medication typically bandages the root problem. It, slaps the Band-Aid, but it has a problem.
It just silences the symptoms, right?
Yep. Yeah. So here we are, and the first thing that I'm going to let you steal the show is talking about seed cycling. It's something that I've been doing. It's something that can help women in this kind of a situation. And so I brought some seeds for props, and I'm just gonna, I told Jenna just a little bit ago, I was like, by the way, because we didn't know what we were gonna talk about, but I'm like, I just brought some things that I think might be good for us to chat about, so you can steal the show and talk about the seeds.
Yeah, so seed cycling is great. So we've got some flax, chia, coconut. This is awesome.
For the flax mainly.
And sunflower butter. So yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, yum.
It's good.
Yeah,
you can try some.
I've never tried sunflower butter.
Oh, girl. Mix this, a packet of stevia, some sea salt, and some cocoa, unsweetened cocoa.
Oh, I bet that's good.
Oh my goodness. Mix it all up. It's like fudge.
Have you tried pumpkin seed butter? I've heard that's really good too.
Yes, it's good.
I just haven't been able to find it anywhere.
This is what I'm doing for my pumpkin seeds right now, and this is delish.
Yum.
Yes.
So yeah, seed cycling is an ancient technique. It's amazing because it promotes hormone balance in the proper phases of your cycle by food alone, which I feel like food as medicine is so powerful. It's something that we ignore. And something like seed cycling is cheap and effective. Now, there hasn't been a lot of research that proves seed cycling works, but it's really hard to get places to invest money in food research studies, if it's not eggs or, eggs. Everybody wants to research eggs. But, but what we do know is there are research studies that show that healthy fats are good for hormones, vitamin E, zinc, and what they do for the ovaries. So if you're piecing those together, then you can see how seed cycling works. And anecdotally, I've seen it with a lot of my clients that it works. A lot of my colleagues have had success with seed cycling. So basically what you're doing is in the first half of your cycle, which is called the follicular phase, and that's pre-ovulation, you want to boost estrogen. Estrogen is the superhero of the hour at that time. And that's why flaxseed and pumpkin seed is very great because it will help boost estrogen levels. And you want to have a tablespoon of each, or as minimum a tablespoon of each. And then in the second phase of your cycle, which is called the luteal phase because it's post-ovulation, we want sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. And a great way is also tahini is the sesame seeds. That's also, I put that on all my salads. I go through a jar of that, I think a week. And that boosts progesterone, which is the superhero of the luteal phase.
I believe I'm in the progesterone phase now.
Okay, so there you go. And so look, it's delicious, it's easy, it's not like a chore, and it's something that will, balance your hormones and make your skin glow and just kind of, make you feel good.
The way I estimated because I have no period to tell me what phase I'm in, but I estimate it based on how my face is breaking out and my energy.
Okay.
And And the discharge.
Yes, that's the one really, the cervical discharge is such a key way because you'll have like more of the egg white cervical fluid before you ovulate. And so if you see that, then you know you're about to ovulate, and that means you're fertile. And then after you ovulate, it'll dry up. So you really won't have much cervical fluid. Maybe like a creamy.
So that's around day 14?
Yeah, day 14 is average. Some women, like I ovulate on day 18 normally. But actually like a few weeks ago was my day 18, and I was in a car accident on the day I was set to ovulate.
Wow.
So from the stress and that cortisol and adrenaline rush, I actually delayed my ovulation, and I didn't ovulate until day 22. Crazy, I know, right?
And then did it throw off your period that month?
It will, because I was supposed to start my period tomorrow.
You just had a car accident?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Are you, obviously you're okay?
I'm okay, but it was really scary. Actually, like a brick fell off a bridge. I was going on I-10, and a brick fell off a bridge. I was going 77 miles an hour, and it could have killed me. It was really scary.
77, girl, you were speeding.
No, the speed limit was 75. I always do the cruise control. So
you can go 2 over,
miles.
you're all right. Start going more than 5 over, you're gonna get pulled over.
Yeah, but I mean, I should have been going 75, but I don't know what kind of a difference that would have made, though. But
yeah.
But anyway, I really, the fact that the accident was really scary, because I'm such a period geek, I was like, oh my gosh, what a cool experiment. Like, I was set to ovulate and I didn't. And so it's true, like that's why if you're in a stressful situation, like you can delay ovulation. So 14 is the textbook, kind of like 14 is the average. But some women ovulate late, some women ovulate early, you know? So that's why just kind of charting your cycles with an app, and knowing your average, you know, kind of having something to compare it to, then you kind of know when you're going to ovulate.
Yeah. And temperature, your body temperature, it can help to show you where you are as well. I mean, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so like if you have an app that you're charting your period and you're not putting in a temperature, it's not really it's not science-based, because you're just kind of predicting your ovulation. So a lot of those apps will have like a ovulation predictor, right? And I always tell my clients to turn those off, because no one but God can predict when you're going to ovulate, basically. And so if you're using that as, you know, pregnancy prevention or pregnancy planning, it's not going to work, because the only way you can tell if you ovulated is when your temperature spikes, as you said. Because progesterone, when you ovulate and you make progesterone, it makes your body run at a higher temperature. So you'll see, like the day after you ovulate, you'll have at least a 0.2 of a degree spike, at least, and it will stay high for the remainder of your cycle until you have your period.
Yeah, so I actually need to go get a thermometer. I'm gonna get that today.
Do that.
Because, I mean, I'm just estimating based on face breakouts, mood, energy, and discharge, but I feel like that would be a clear indication. And so
Definitely.
I'm gonna take my temperature for the next 30 days. And
do it, yeah.
Yep, and so according to where I think I'm at right now, correct me if I'm wrong, what should be happening is if I think I'm about halfway through the progesterone phase, a little less than that. So once I get to day 14 of this next cycle, so in a little more than 2 weeks, I should see a spike in my temperature.
Yes, absolutely. So you can start with your temperature now, and you'll look out for the spike. And for women that like their cycles are irregular, or you haven't had a period in a long time, one thing that you can do with the seed cycling is follow the cycles of the moon. You can, you know, the many women start their period on the new moon. Think out there when you started your period and think back, it could have been on the new moon. A lot of times that happens, and then the full moon is when a lot of women ovulate. So the full moon is next Friday. So if your period is all over the place and you know you don't know what's going on, follow the moon. So what you do is from new moon to full moon, you would have the pumpkin seeds and flax seeds, like as in the follicular phase, pre-ovulatory. And then from the full moon to new moon, you would be in the luteal phase and have the sesame seeds and the...
From full to new. And so I need to like find a cool way to remember this. Full to new is sesame.
It's the first half,
so it's the estrogen phase.
New moon to full moon is the first half.
NF is the first half.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's reverse alphabetical. So I'm trying to think of a way that I could. So NF is the pumpkin seeds and flax seeds, basically.
Yes.
NFPP.
There you go.
So help me think of a cool saying here.
Okay.
Not funny.
Period pain.
Yeah, not funny, period pain. So, okay.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking to you about like not funny. Okay, and then not funny, period pain. And then FN, full to new, is SS.
Okay, full to new is SF.
Funny now, stupid something. I didn't want to do something. I wanted to do something else.
I mean.
So not funny, and now it's funny now.
Not funny now.
SS.
SS.
It's funny now. So who are you telling it's funny now? Like, what would make sense?
So what is the acronym again? It's full moon to new moon, FN, funny now, and
funny
then
now, and it's the
SS.
SS.
Funny now.
People are gonna stop watching at this
I
point.
don't know. If you have any ideas, maybe comment on the video
Yeah.
and let us know.
No, I like it though. I don't think, actually, I think people are gonna be like, yeah, they're pretty cool. What do you think? I think we're pretty
I
cool.
think we are. I think we're cool.
Funny now.
Sergeant Simon. Okay.
Funny now, Sergeant Simon. Okay, I will never forget
Yep.
to do from full to new, because it's funny now, sesame and sunflower. I'll never forget that now, but if we hadn't...
Yeah, it is
if
a really great way to
Sergeant
learn.
Simon hadn't been funny,
Thank
then
you, Sergeant
I
Simon.
wouldn't have known. So, okay, this is good. So then basically, and you said, what are we coming up on? We're coming up on a new moon?
Yes, actually full moon.
We're coming up on the full
next
moon.
Friday will be a full moon.
So we're going from new to full.
Yeah.
So it's not funny. So shoot, I shouldn't have just chugged this. I should have.
But you know what? It's okay. If you eat some of the other seeds at the time, that's okay. Like flaxseed, I have flaxseed every day usually. But the thing is, I make sure to get the correct seeds. So like right now, I'm in my luteal phase, so I'm having sesame seeds and sunflower seeds.
Okay.
It's okay to have flax seeds during that time, but you just want to make sure that you're
The dominant one.
Yes, the dominant one is still being had.
Okay, and so is there, I mean, there's not much research that shows about seed cycling. I would doubt that there's much research that shows about the full and the new moon, but there?
There are a few studies, and the studies that have been done with the most compelling evidence is something called lunar cycle. So basically, the moon, the light from the full moon stimulates the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is right around here, and it's what releases your LH, your FSH, that luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, which gets you to ovulate.
Okay.
So it is sensitive to light.
Okay.
So there have been a lot of studies of women who, before their ovulation, like, maybe days, if they ovulate in day 14, let's say day 12, 13, 14, they have a little like night light next to their bed, or they open up the curtain to let some of the moonlight in. And there has been significant data showing that helps women ovulate.
Interesting.
So that's why they think that a lot of women, and like wise tales of ancient, women have traditionally all menstruated together during the full moon. They ovulated, and the new moon they menstruated.
Okay.
So that's the evidence of I think the impact of the light on the pituitary gland.
So could you go for a nice moonlit walk?
That is awesome. That is so great. Like sunbathing, moonbathing for women.
Yeah.
Is really great for balancing hormones.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I have my room darkeners. My room is up yonder. Where are we? I'm losing my.
You're over there, right? In the corner?
See. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, that's me there. So I have room darkeners over my window, but ooh, shoot, I shouldn't.
Yeah, well, just at nighttime, you can just kind of like, open them up and get some moonlight, or have a little nightlight next to your bed, just like 3 days before you're set to ovulate. 3 days, so 3 days before the full moon.
Okay. And this would correspond with right before the temperature spike?
Yes.
Okay.
Because after you ovulate, then the temperature is spiking. That means that you've ovulated.
Okay.
And
so I have to beat the temperature spike with the moonlight.
It'll help, instigate the ovulation.
And so something that's going through my mind right now is people are going to watch us and be like, these girls are crazy. But this is the thing. The society that we live in programs you for medication, synthetics, chemicals, and that we're programmed to think that that's how we heal things. But we really need to go back to our roots and realize that you can heal with nature and with medicine.
Absolutely. And, medicine is great for, acute illnesses, or life-threatening bacterial infection. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a place for antibiotics, there's a place for modern medicine, but it's like we live in a time, right, where we just jump straight to modern medicine.
Exactly.
We don't try the remedies,
Nutrition,
remedies
try
first.
the nutrition, unless it's like life-threatening. But there are people that have life-threatening cancers that still will go to the holistic and nutrition ways
and find
first
healing.
and do find healing. So it's a case-by-case basis, and you got to listen to your doctor.
And like for me, I have something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS.
Ditto.
And PCOS sisters, and The doctors told me that I would never be symptom free. Like you can never cure PCOS. It can never be cured, but it can be put into remission.
Managed.
Yeah, like I'm pretty much 100% symptom free.
Nice.
And doctors told me it would never be possible. And they put me on a birth control pill when I was 13, when I was a child, basically.
Wow.
And shut off all my hormones, put me in an induced state of menopause, which is what hormonal birth control does. And then when I got off, I didn't have a period for like 9 months. I was all over the place. The PCOS didn't go away. And when I started, going into nutrition and using food as medicine, that was what did it. I just realized, oh, wow, like food as medicine works for PCOS. And when it's PCOS and endometriosis, like really food is the most powerful tool we have.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, the birth control pill might silence the symptoms, but it's not getting to the root cause. And your body doesn't know how to say like, hey, you're eating that and you shouldn't be.
Right.
It communicates to you through pain, and through sensations.
Right.
So we have to listen to those things.
Right. So I think this was good info, the seed cycling thing. And so let's now summarize with who would seed cycling benefit. So we're talking about it would benefit someone that doesn't have a period. Maybe you're a female athlete and you've lost your period, or you're just having you're noticing things seem off with your hormonal cycle, so it would benefit you. But who else would it benefit?
Any woman, honestly. So at any stage of her life, whether it be the beginning of menstruation, so menarche, whether it be perimenopause, menopause, because menopause, women in menopause or postmenopause can follow the moon cycle and continue to incorporate the seeds, because the biggest myth out there is that women in postmenopause don't make any hormones. So that's our
it's
adrenals.
on a smaller scale. Yeah, you got them.
So having the seeds will definitely help with that as well. So for everyone.
And it essentially minimizes the bad symptoms that we associate with PMSing. Is that right?
And for the symptoms of PMS, it's generally always estrogen dominance. So we live in an estrogen dominant world. Everything around us is estrogen, like the plastic, the aluminum, the chemicals, which is one reason you have to really clean up your everything that you use on your body in your house. And so it's really
Tom's deodorant.
That's right. It's
Fluoride-free toothpaste.
Oh my God, fluoride-free toothpaste, yes. And it's really hard to protect yourself from the estrogen. We have to be active about it. We have to do detoxes. We have to be proactive. Because if not, if you're estrogen dominant, that's when the swelling of the breast happen, where it's painful to touch, the bloating to where you can't fit into any of your pants, the mood swings, the acne, like that stuff is a sign of estrogen dominance.
So here's a question then. If someone is estrogen dominant or whatever the case may be, so the flax in the pumpkin promotes estrogen, right? So
yes.
So how does that work? I'm sure you've gotten this question before. So if you're in that phase, not funny period pain, if it's full to new moon, and you're doing your pumpkin and flax seeds and you're estrogen dominant, does that have a negative impact?
That's a really good question. And the reason is because estrogen has it's metabolized in different ways. So yes, it's increasing estrogen, but it's increasing the estrogen pathway that we want. So that's why, like with saliva tests, they don't really show us much. They show us a stationary level. Okay, your estrogen's here, your progesterone's here, your testosterone's here. But it's just like a picture in time. But when we take something like the Dutch test, which I know you just did, the dried urine test, which is what I use in my clinic because it's the best, it's the gold standard.
We might do another video on that.
It shows how it's being metabolized in the body. So it's showing all the different pathways, because like estrogen has 3 pathways. One of them is a cancerous pathway. One of them is a very healthy pathway that you want it to go on. So what flaxseed does is it helps your estrogen metabolize in a healthy way.
Okay, good. So it's not promoting necessarily the negative estrogen dominant side.
Specifically the 4-OH1,
Okay.
which is the cancerous pathway, which we do not want it to go down.
Okay, that makes sense. So continue to seed cycle then.
Yes, it is
even if you're
okay.
estrogen dominant. Yeah.
But that's a really good question. Because
Yeah.
you're like, oh wait, we're all estrogen dominant, then why are we doing something to increase our estrogen?
And something else, which I'll have to pull up my Dutch test, but I know my estrogen and progesterone were like nothing. Like on the scale, is the scale like 5 to 20 or something like that? I can't even remember.
I can't
what
remember
it is,
right now.
but
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but if the scale is about 5 to 20, mine are at like 0.4, I want to say.
Okay.
So that's pretty low, and both of them are very low. And you're supposed to do the Dutch test when you're going into the progesterone phase.
Yes. So if you don't know when you're ovulating and you take a Dutch test, that typically the progesterone will not be accurate, because it's only accurate if it's, you know, like 7 to 8 days after you around 7 days after you ovulate. But for women who are experiencing hormone imbalances, a lot of times they want to do the Dutch test. They're not ovulating a lot of times, or it's not regular, so it's really hard for them to get that. And that's okay, because the other things show us significant information.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so basically, the summary is that seed cycling would benefit any woman, and especially those that are experiencing hormonal problems, whatever they may be. And the benefits would be that it would reduce the PMS symptoms and help your cycle to stay in line, so it can help with fertility. It can help with mood swings. It can
Period
help period pain. What else am I missing here?
Balanced moods.
You might have a better relationship with the people around you because you're not like.
So here's the deal. It's like if you're, I can't remember who told me this the other day, but I thought it was hilarious. She was like, if your husband only drives you crazy, or your partner only drives you crazy like the week before your period, it's probably you. If he doesn't drive you crazy, or she doesn't drive you crazy the rest of the month, then it's, or if he drives you crazy the whole month, then it's him or her. But if it's only the week before your period, then probably common denominator.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. So then on that note, we would love to hear your feedback, and we will likely do another video together at some point based on what we hear from y'all. So thank you for your attention, and we're really hoping to connect with people out there that are going through the same thing. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Anything else you want to add, or just
Yeah, if you want more information like this, go on over to my Instagram page. It's at Jenna Longoria Health, and you can follow me there.
And I will link your Instagram and your website and all of your info in the bottom in the description on this YouTube video.
Awesome.
So just pass it along this way. She's great. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.